Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Foreman, and this is the Lost Easy Up, aka the Lost Lazy Boy Step Up, and it might also be known to you as the Lazy Toy Step Up. All of those boards, we're all talking about the same board. We were lucky enough to get this board at the beginning of last summer, and if you read the review at the bottom of this page, you'll see photos of that board. We got one of these boards in the C3 construction, the cork carbon composite construction, and before it even had a name. So basically it was the Lazy Boy Step Up, and we got to surf that board all through hurricane season last year in Cape Hatteras, as well as taking it to Nicaragua and riding in actually a wide range of surf, anything from knee to stomach high surf to chest high days that you could ride anything, but it's the fourth session in a day, you just want an easy board to surf, to riding some good pumping overhead days down in Nicaragua as well. And the board is impressive. It's really a really good board, and when you put anything in the category of a Lazy Boy, it has to be good, because the Lazy Boy is a timeless board that Lost made that will continue to sell well and be popular and never really disappoint you on a session. Basically, anytime you would go to the beach with a Lazy Boy, no matter what the waves were, you would come back with a smile on your face. And this board stands right in there at that same level of doing that same type of performance. No matter what type of surf you're surfing in, small or big, it does incredibly well. Initially, this board was designed as a step up to the Lazy Boy, because if the Lazy Boy or similar board to that was your main board, when you would go from that board to a pointed nosed or more conventional step up board in bigger surf, the board would be significantly narrower. It would have not nearly the length of sweet spot, like where you could stand on the board, and it became very precise as to how you had to surf that board, which is at the exact opposite performance spectrum of the Lazy Boy, because the Lazy Boy you could literally stand anywhere on the board and it would work. So whether you were doing that from a functionality standpoint, like where you were trying to trim further forward on the board, or whether you stood up in the wrong place, the Lazy Boy was very, very forgiving in that type of aspect, as far as having the huge open sweet spot on the board. The Lazy Boy Step Up or the Easy Up does that same thing. So big open sweet spot. The main differences with this board is you're going to notice it's a little bit slimmed down in the width. It has a little bit more nose rocker in the front and a little bit more tail rocker out the back of the board, and then also the rails are more foiled compared to the standard Lazy Boy. The standard Lazy Boy has a very flat deck and brings the rail volume out pretty far and then drops it down, where the Lazy Boy Step Up has a flat deck but then really trims down on the rail. So when you put your hands around the rail, you're not feeling as much volume. You still have the volume down the center of the board for the paddling. You just don't have it on the rails when you're going at those higher speeds and you want to be able to sink the rail into a nice turn. So as far as the performance of this board, our first time that we got to use the board was all last summer, and using it in either the first bar breaks, but at the bigger sizes of those, or out on the second and the third bars here, so in more powerful surf and also larger, more powerful surf. The board is, you get more paddle out of it, especially if you upsize it. The biggest thing that you notice is the foil on the rails and the curvature of the rocker. The board fits better into rounder waves better, but it also, in the turning, it doesn't have that thicker railed feeling. The thicker railed feeling is really nice in less powerful waves or flatter waves, but when you get into faster moving waves of any size, having the board be a little bit more foiled out feels better. And it feels better without it being harder to surf, and that's a hard combination of things there to combine. The next thing was late drops were easier because of that extra rocker, and then also having the nose narrowed down, thinned down, and a little bit more kick in the nose made those later drops a little bit better as well. The thing that was surprising, which is it's hard to be even more surprising than this board performing well in the bigger surf, it was great in the bigger surf, was in Nicaragua we surfed it on that bigger end and worked great again. But on the smaller days, especially later in the week when we started to get surfed out, we would go to it on the smaller days, and anywhere from like knee to stomach, or even some like chest high, shoulder high sets, but just not really a wave that you would expect to be riding like a step-up board on, and you would normally ride the standard Lazy Boy, and it still retained all that that looseness and good feel. It's not like it sat too deep in the water. A lot of times when you take your step up into small conditions, it doesn't work. This board continued to work and work really well. So on a travel trip or something like that, it's something that if you like this style of board, you could take it as a single board, and it's going to cover a very wide range of conditions. A popular question that we get in the comments section is sizing on this board, because there's a lot of Lazy Boys out there right now in the full range of sizes, from the mid 5s all the way up to the low 7 foot range. And what we recommend after having surfed the board so much is if you size it the same size as your Lazy Boy, you're going to get the benefit of the board feeling better in rounder waves. And so if you have some days where the surf is punchier or it's just getting more hollow, it's going to fit into that wave better. The paddle power will be about the same as your standard Lazy Boy if you're getting it in the same size. If you're getting it in the same volume, it's going to be longer than your Lazy Boy, so it'll paddle a little bit better. It'll get you into the waves a little bit better. If you're looking to take that step out to the next bar or reef or the next one after that and get into some significantly larger waves, that's when you take the step up to the next size and give yourself a little bit of extra foam and then a notable extra amount of length to get you into the waves. So what I was riding, my standard Lazy Boy that I ride all the time is a 6.0. And when I went to the Lazy Boy Step Up, or the Easy Up as they call it now, I was riding a 6.4. So basically about 4 inches longer. And if I was to size it about the same, I'd be at a 6.2, which would give me about the same amount of volume. So that's the standard way to look at it. Great board. And it's going to be a big performer this year and years to come. Again, I think you look at the board and there's really nothing that's going to date the board or make it out of style. And having fun actually never goes out of style. So it's the Easy Up, it's the Lazy Boy Step Up, and it's not just for the big stuff. Any other information that you need, check out the written review below this video at realwatersports.com/surfing, or give us a call at the shop.